Hello everyone, my name is Autumn Davis, and the article I've decided to summarize is called The Adherence to a Mediterranean Diet and Long-Term Changes in Weight and Waist Circumference in the EPIC Italy cohort. The main focus of this article was to determine whether or not sticking to a standard Mediterranean diet could prevent people from becoming overweight or obese. Obesity is a widespread epidemic affecting millions of people all over the world. The main causes include increasing rates of overeating and sedentary lifestyles in many different populations. However, the relationship between diet and weight gain is complex, as certain people are more susceptible to obesity due to certain dietary patterns. In 2011, a scientific study was found that supported that following a Mediterranean-type dietary pattern could help reduce body weight. So scientists decided to conduct a study to see if there were any links between following a Mediterranean diet and having long-term changes in weight. This current study was based off of information from a previous study called EPIC Italy, which occurred between 1993 and 1998. About 12 years after the EPIC Italy study was conducted, volunteers were asked to update all of their information and body measurements so that scientists could see if there were any long-term changes in weight gain after the initial study was conducted. The study consisted of 47,749 healthy individuals from Varese, Turin, Florence, Naples, and Ragusa, Italy, in the initial study, but for the following study, only 32,119 volunteers could continue, and these were the same volunteers that were observed between 1993 and 1998, and they were observed through lifestyle questionnaires and body measurements. In terms of body measurements, volunteers had their weight, height, and waist circumference measured while wearing light clothing and no shoes. These measurements were then used to calculate the initial BMI of each individual. And as for 5-year weight change and waist circumference change, these were measured by using follow-up weight minus initial weight divided by the years of follow-up time and then multiplied by 5. Volunteers were then given specialized questionnaires that were formulated to capture the cultural dietary patterns in northern and central Italy. Questionnaires were filled out over a 12-month period and were used to estimate the daily intake of Italian food. Using an index scale of 0 to 11, volunteers received a rating on how well they were able to stick to the Mediterranean diet. Points were given out for high intake of Mediterranean foods and low intake of non-Mediterranean foods, and Mediterranean foods were considered pasta, tomatoes, leafy greens, onions, garlic, olive oil, pulses, and fruits, and non-Mediterranean foods were considered to be red meat, processed meat, sugary drinks like soda pop, as well as moderate intake of alcohol. After an average of about 12 years, the average 5-year weight increase was 0.67 kilograms, and the average 5-year waist increase was 3.37 centimeters. Of the volunteers that were initially considered normal weight, 23.7% became considered to be overweight or obese. Out of the volunteers who were considered not abdominally obese, 29.7% became abdominally obese, and out of all the volunteers who were initially considered to be overweight or obese, 9.3% became normal weight. In conclusion, a high Italian Mediterranean index score was associated with a healthy initial BMI of less than 25 kilograms per meter squared and a negative 5-year weight change. High index score was also associated with a lower risk of abdominal obesity and gains in waist circumference. These results were highly impacted by specific components of the Mediterranean diet. For example, volunteers who ended up having an increased intake of red and processed meats or soft drinks or even moderate intake of alcohol ended up ruining their diet. And as a result, these volunteers saw an increased risk of weight gain and obesity. Overall, if volunteers with a healthy BMI stuck to a strict Mediterranean diet, a majority of them benefited from little to no changes in weight, waist circumference, and an overall decrease in obesity rate. Thanks for watching.